supposed to be at my day job today, but I woke up this morning not feeling very well, so I took a sick day. I've been laying around all day, and I felt compelled as I was laying around to get up and make a video that I had some things I wanted to talk about. Specifically, what I want to talk about is inspired by, I got this book, Living Thelema by David Shoemaker yesterday, and you may have, if you may be familiar with David Shoemaker because he has a channel on YouTube called Living Thelema, and it's a great channel. And Shoemaker is a psychotherapist. He's a ceremonial magician. He's a Thelemite, and so he kind of elucidates in this book and on his channel on the practices of Thelema as described by Aleister Crowley. And while I am not a Thelemite, although if anybody was convinced me to be right now, it would be David Shoemaker, but I am not a Thelemite. I find Crowley's ideas around the Holy Guardian Angel and true will to be very pertinent when I'm thinking about the Daemon. I think if there's a Venn diagram, I think those circles overlap quite a bit. And so specifically Shoemaker's sections in this book on the true will and the Holy Guardian Angel, and a lot of the stuff he says about Kabbalah and just all of it in general, I find very inspirational to my thoughts around the Daemon. And so I wanted to share something that I read in there, and this is something I think he might have said these exact words on his YouTube channel too, because when I read them, they were immediately familiar to me. So let's read those real quick. He's talking about true will here, and he says, "Think about yourself as a force of nature. Wind blows, water flows, fire burns, and acid corrodes. What is it that you do to the world?" And I think this is a valuable way to think about true will, because, and you've heard me bemoan capitalism on this channel before, but because of capitalism, when we think of true will and we think about our purpose in life, we can't help but connect it to an occupation or a vocation or a job, and I think that is the wrong way to think about it. I think absolutely your true will could lead you to a vocation, could lead you to a job, but true will is so much bigger than that. And like he's saying here, you're a force of nature. He goes on to say in the book, think about when you walk into a room that's full of people. What's the effect that you have on that room? And so kind of getting to that effect helps you figure out what your true will is. What is the net result of your existence in this universe? That's how you kind of get to the heart of what your will is, of what you're here to accomplish. And it's, I've pointed out that it's not just your job, but I would even take it a step further and say it's not even really your talents. It's not what you're good at necessarily. Because even if we can get over the idea of, well, it doesn't have to be a job, but, I really love playing guitar. It must be playing guitar. And I would say it's not even that. If you are a guitar player or you are a writer or an actor, that your true will isn't necessarily your means of expression. And the thing I think about in relation to this a lot is if you've ever seen the movie Thor Ragnarok, it was the third Thor movie and by far the best in my opinion. And really, as far as Marvel movies go, was one of the better Marvel movies. But there's this scene where Thor has lost his hammer. Thor is the god of thunder, and he uses Mjolnir, this big giant hammer, to do his thing. And the hammer's been destroyed. And the bad guys kind of have Thor on the ropes. And he goes into this kind of trance state, and he sees his deceased father, Odin, in this trance state, and he's kind of complaining and bemoaning to his father. He's like, things are so bad right now, and I don't even have my hammer. And then Odin says to him, "Oh, I'm sorry. Were you the god of hammers? And the answer is no. Obviously, he's not the god of hammers. He's the god of thunder. And the hammer was just the thing that he used for the most part to project the thunder, to create the thunder. But he wasn't the god of hammers. He's the god of thunder. And so you, even though you might be think of yourself as a guitar player or a writer or an actor or a cook, I would say you're not the god of guitar playing. You're not the god of writing. You're not the god of acting or cooking. That those are your hammer. Those are your means of expression. But what you're really the god of, what your true will you actually is the effect that you have on people when you do those things. And so this is an opportunity for you to really take a step back and ask, what is the effect that I have? And Shoemaker recommends going in and, maybe getting some people that you're close to that you trust, or, you can be your enemies. This is useful too. And asking them, what do you think, what effect do you think I have? What do you think of when you think of me? What do I kind of represent? What do I create in this world? And while their opinion is nowhere near as important as your own opinion, it can give you some insight. And I have a newsletter that I was sending out for a while, and it was about 100 people on it. And I asked one week in the newsletter, I was like, give me 3 words that you think of when you think of me. And it was a really insightful exercise. It was flattering. They all had really kind things to say. And then because I was getting such good feedback from it, I was like, you know what, I'm going to ask somebody that I don't have an enemy, but who's somebody that I know disagrees with me a lot. And so I asked that person an email. I said, hey, you don't have to do this, but I'm just curious, what are 3 words you think of when you think of me? And they were still tried to be very polite and very kind. And I think they were polite and kind, but one of the words that I could have written down for them was that I was a contrarian. And they thought that because I disagree with them a lot. and I think they saw that not necessarily as earnest disagreement on my part, but as some part of my nature that I just had to disagree with people and things. And my wife has called me a contrarian before, and my brother-in-law. So that may be something I need to dive into. But at any rate, find out not what you're good at. You probably know what you're good at. You probably know what your talents are. But seek to find out, what is the effect I have on the world and the people around me, and that will be a sign as to what you're the god of, or what your true will is. I think that is super valuable, and I will probably be referring to Living Thelema in future videos. I did a short about it already this morning. We'll probably do more of those. It is, I've recommended books on this channel before, Pathways to Bliss, The Soul's Code. I believe Living Thelema is a book that I'm adding to that recommendation list, because it is, so far from what I can tell, pure gold and very helpful to the idea of diving into the Daemon. So anyway, see you guys soon.